Warning, the following video contains strong language which may be offensive to some viewers and or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
Welcome to Everythin Yet Nothin. Here's a hillbilly in eyeshadow who's looking fabulous and talking about anything yet something. Get ready to chew on a blade of sweet grass and talk about a variety of LGBTQ topics to the lifestyle of a gay hillbilly. Watch out, folks. These hills don't just got eyes. They got themselves a vodcast. Now, here's T-Roy.
Hey, welcome to Everything Yet Nothin. Tonight we have a freaking guest that is out of this world, as always. And I can't give him enough kudos because he is phenomenal. He's out of this world. He is absolutely awesome. He has so much stuff going on for himself that he is going to let you know exactly what that is. This is the beginning of his saga. His saga is a 3-week saga, and we're going to start out from childhood up to where he is today. And I can't wait because I'm very interested in just who this guy is.
Me too.
Aren't you?
Yes.
Oh, me too. And so we get to dig and dig, and we're going to go deep. Oh, he doesn't even have no idea.
We're going to get to the nitty gritty of it all.
Nitty gritty of it all. Daniel, where are you at? Daniel. Oh, it has been okay weather here. I don't know.
The last 2 days, it's been absolutely beautiful.
I know, like summer.
The snow finally went away, and it's just beautiful.
Yes. Finally.
I had to turn my AC on in my car yesterday because it was hot in there.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, I'm glad you guys are enjoying that because it's February still. Let me remind you that. In February, we should be historically one of the coldest months of the year. Even though it is the week before the end of the week or the end of the month, we should still not be in the 70s.
But listen, they already said the global warming's not a thing, so it's fine.
All right, Trumpster. I don't believe that. Like,
I don't believe that either.
I believe in
don't
science,
believe
and I don't know. We don't even have to go to science. I don't have to be as smart as science. I can just walk outside and see that it's 75 degrees in February in Missouri and know that there's a fucking issue.
Yes.
The world's coming to it.
We don't even have to think about it. What about next month?
I have no idea.
Next month is spring.
Yeah.
Oh, it's okay to be 70 degrees next one.
Okay.
But 2 days
So
before
historically
next
speaking, we are talking about like historical
When are we
temperatures
doing
and how it normally is. Yes,
That's a week.
dear. I know you're from
No, not that.
Vegas, but in Missouri, March is the month that this should be happening.
Yeah.
Like it should be like 20 degrees one day and 70 degrees the other day in March.
It's true.
Because that's the
When is
transition. month.
diversity in America?
But the months have been off. The seasons have been
Like
off
spring.
by a couple of months
In
for
the
the last few years.
I think it's in March.
So
Or maybe April.
we've had. I remember when it was the first day of spring. Literally the first day of spring is when we had 6 inches of snow.
Oh,
We
true. That
still
was
have
true.
pictures of that on our Facebook.
When do we set up the booth?
April, the first weekend of April.
Okay.
And you get
Do
spring.
you need me to-
weekend.
We're setting up a
Get
booth.
that off.
Merchandise.
My thing. You get my thing
Rainbow.
now.
Why would it?
Rainbow.
I'm gonna go.
Well,
Historically speaking.
anything been going on in your life?
It's just been super busy.
I know.
Super busy at work. Super busy in life.
Yeah.
It's
To
I
be honest,
I could say it's
wasn't
the time
that
of year, which it kind of is because we have a competition coming up tomorrow, and then we have state, and I have to go to state. So there's just a whole lot of moving parts. I just got back from DC a couple weeks ago. Like it's wild. Like
What's the competition for?
it's called the Youth of the Year and Junior Youth of the Year. So the teens and tween groups write a speech that talks about like their life and how the club has impacted their lives, and they can win like scholarships and different things like that.
Oh, cool. Oh, yeah.
I really like the dark bold lip.
Do you?
That's the YMCA or
No,
No, the Boys and Girls Club. in
Boys and
America.
Girls Club.
Boys and Girls Club of Branson?
Of the Ozarks as
Of the
well.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So I have a question, babe. Why is this like this?
Oh, I don't even know.
What?
What? Where? Are you talking about the tea?
Isn't that supposed to be a picture of the?
Oh, well, don't even worry about that.
Oh, okay.
When
It's
you're
not, it's not touching.
Get off.
I'm gonna be buying.
Whoa! Why do you have a ghost behind you?
Ooh.
Okay.
Oh,
Get
it's,
on my.
It's a
it's
shadow.
his shadow.
Hi, everybody. Sorry.
I don't even know who that was.
Oh,
You need to
they
get
just
out
let
of my
anybody in
house
here.
right now.
You
Have we even
yeah,
brought our
all
guest
over.
out yet?
Yeah. Since
No,
that you
man.
want.
Oh.
Get ready to.
He's still hidden.
He's hidden.
Oh, okay. So,
He's hidden. We get to talk about him. He doesn't even know it.
hello, guys. Welcome to Everything and Nothin. My name is Kevin. And I am the host.
Oh, it's Kevin and I tonight. Okay.
Yeah, we need to change names.
Anyways, did you put JoJo in there? I haven't even did that.
No,
I have a bad prediction.
you are.
I just you were there last week. You should say T-Ring.
No, last week we had snow. It was you and
Yeah.
T-Roy.
Yeah.
Oh. Anyway, so without further ado,
Anyways, without any further ado, let's bring Mr. Sharpie. What's up?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
It's going great, man.
Hey, I'm relaxing, dude. It has been a crazy 2 months, man.
It sounds like it. You've been busy.
Well, I'm very blessed to be as busy as I am. I remember times in my life when I wasn't so busy,
Yeah.
and now, I'm busy with only music. Like that's all I have going on is music, and
Heck
I'm just
yeah.
so beyond humbled and blessed to be where I'm at. It's great to wake up every day.
Yeah. Heck yeah, it really is.
And it's so wild that we're like in dead season. It just seems like everybody is so busy right now.
Mm.
And I remember in years past, like in the off season of Branson, everybody's collecting unemployment. Everybody, is just lounging and chilling.
Yeah.
And that has not been this way at all this
No.
year.
Or the last.
Yeah,
It's
I
really
think that for me, the off season, recording wise, in my studio is probably the busiest because, that's when people have time off. Like people are wanting to record music. People are wanting to get their tracks ready for shows. They're trying to build their production. So I'm very blessed. I'm very blessed that people, get a hold of me to do that for them.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
So I have kept myself extremely busy during the off season. My wife and I went on a cruise, and that was fun.
Ooh.
And let's see, and then I came back. All I really did after that was just record. And I released. What did I release? I released 2 songs in the off season. I think I released 2 songs, and then I have another one dropping tomorrow, which is exciting.
Out with that wife of yours, she's a keeper.
Oh, she's awesome. It's because of her that I've released 8 or I think it's 9 songs. I've lost track already. That I've released, I think it's 9 songs in the past 7 months or 8 months. But she told me, you have all of these songs and they just sit on a hard drive.
Yeah.
Like you need to release it. So because of her, Sharpie exists. And
Yeah. And she's awesome for helping you and backing you and pushing you. That
she's the one that tells me I'm overthinking,
listen.
She's
to
a good
her.
support system.
She is great,
Yeah, she is.
She pushes you probably when you don't even want to do it. She's like, no, you got to do it.
She is. She's like, You know, you got to get the stuff done for the taxes for the studio before the season starts. You know, and then like a week later, I'm not telling you have to do it right now, but you got it. You know, so she came home one day and I said, "Hey, I got all the taxes done for the studio today." And she's like, "Oh, wow, that's great news."
Yeah.
She's probably watching it right now, knowing her.
She's like,
Hey,
don't
babe.
talk about it.
Stop. Say
Uh,
Homer.
We love your wife. Well, I love your wife
I love his wife.
so much. She's like the life of the party, but she's also like the sweetest, kindest human
Totally.
that ever lived.
And she's
And
so
she's so
adorable.
awesome to
She
party
is.
with and to hang out with at a rock band concert. Freaking phenomenal. Like him and her both were rocking out with me. And it was so much fun. I want to do it again.
yeah, we should definitely go see a show. You know, like that would be fun. I wanted to see Zach Top while he was in town in the area. I think he was in. It wasn't Eureka. Was it Fayetteville? I think he was in Fayetteville. You know who Zach Top is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude's freaking awesome. We missed that. That would have been a great show. Let's
would've
see. What are some other artists that I want to see? I would like to see Willie Nelson.
Yeah.
I want to party with that man. I don't want you to see him. I want to know him.
Yeah.
I think I can go
Because I guarantee he has stories.
I would like to try
out
to
of
get
this
time with
world,
Willie and
and
Snoop Dogg, but
he's
my love
lived one hell of a life to still be
y'all are
living.
talking about
Like, I'm not worried about tolerance. I'm worried about
Dude,
lung capacity with
Freaking Willie Nelson is awesome. I'm trying to think of maybe one. I would like to see John Mayer.
Yeah.
Both those guys are pretty slow music, though. Let's see. What about something more upbeat type? Oh,
so when
Wolfpack. Have you listened to Wolfpack?
But I'd go see him again.
Yeah.
Who?
Imagine Dragons.
Oh, I bet that's great. I bet
It-
they
it
were
was-
great.
It wasn't just a concert. It was definitely like it was an experience. Like it was very much so, and you could tell like in that time of life here in this area, it's exactly what was needed because like everybody like from 6 years old on up to 60 years old were all there, and it was just like I like music because it brings people together, but my least favorite thing is to go to a concert when it's about the music and not about that connection, if that makes sense. Yeah.
It makes sense. I saw Scott Stapp from Creed, and I heard people complaining about it in the foyer. All he did was preach the whole time. And I'm just like, dude, like he was building a great connection. Like he was like the music was playing and he's just vibing, and he was saying, I know everyone out there is going through, someone out there is probably going through a hard time right now. And, and he was just very, very much like in tune with the energy,
Yeah.
And not every artist is like that,
Yeah.
No.
Like I want to feel at a concert the way that I feel listening to that music at home. if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
I want to feel
Or
the
in my
feeling
car,
that
like
is
Right.
supposed to be there whenever it comes out of the person that's singing it.
Yeah.
I want to feel like I'm them. And
like
feel
when you see Scotty Austin, like he spends those moments and doesn't have any music, going, and he just talks. And it's that connection, if people don't feel like they're connected to you, why would they listen to your music when they get home? They'd be like, oh, that guy was boring, on stage. Or
I don't know
Right.
any other rock star that has gotten down and it's like, all right, guys, so like, let's get close here. I'm sitting
that
down
would
here.
be-
I'm off of my stage. I'm
Yeah.
right here.
Yeah.
You are face to face with me. The only thing that is between you and me is this microphone, and I'm going to play my guitar, and I'm going to sing to you guys, and we are going to have this connection. I have not.
there are
I've
guys.
been to a few concerts, and I like to pride myself on opening up T-Roy to concerts because before me he's like the two, and then we've been to a few. But he also, because of T-Roy and this podcast, That's why I met Scotty Austin. But that's a
Right.
whole different story. T-Roy's my connection to Scotty Austin, but Scotty Austin's the way he just like he literally like you were there. He
Right.
sat there.
He really pulled
He
you in.
came off
Yeah,
of the
like energy
stage.
that he's
He
giving off.
sat on the he sat the microphone up in front of him. He's like, guys, come here, let's come close. We are a family. Let's talk. And this is my song.
A lot of people could learn from his example, you know, like
Yeah.
I think that every lead singer should be more in their feelings, you know, at their shows. And I think that that's where a lot, you know, people don't come to the show just to hear the music.
Right.
You know,
They wanna
they come for three things, you know. They come for entertainment, of course.
Yeah.
They come for like some kind of spiritual healing or something, you know what I mean? And they come for connection, you know. I mean,
connection's so important.
It is.
you know, and maybe spiritual, maybe that's not the right word, but vibe, you know what I mean? Like people can feel the energy of something that's good, you know. You know, and if you don't feel that when you leave a show, that means one, the guy is burnt out and should get off the road, or two, he's just a terrible performer. Like, you know, some of these people, like I opened for Lone Star last year, and I was walking onto the stage, and I saw the lead singer, and he just was like, "Hey," and I was like, walk up, so I'm like, "Dude," you know. And then after I went to walk off the stage, he's like, hey dude, how you feel about your set? I'm like, it's pretty good, dude. And I was like, I wish that all of them were like that, because there wasn't a bit of animosity. There wasn't a bit of I'm better than you. There wasn't anything. And you know, there's a reason those guys are still kicking it.
Yep.
You know, you get blacklisted and blackballed. You know, is what happens if you do that to too many places, you know.
Yep. So where are you from?
I'm from Monett, Missouri. You know where that's at?
Oh yes.
Omaticon, purple and gold.
So exactly. So I was born in El Dorado Springs, Missouri.
I know that.
Right. So I was raised a working man, you know,
Yep.
and so the whole thing, my dad raised me, you know, that, you know, you are the work that you put in, and, you know, the things that you do determine on how people look at you as a person, you know?
Yes.
So the things that you do in your life, the decisions that you make, that is what people think of you. And if you were to die the next day, that's what you are remembered as. So that's kind of like a brief insight into like my childhood. And, you know, my dad was very hard on me, but in a good way. Maybe a little too hard, but I think that if he wasn't hard enough, you know, I'd be complaining about that. But my dad was a Pentecostal pastor. So I was raised in, you know, living at the church and, you know, vacuuming the church Monday through Friday, you know, so I wasn't home very much when I was a kid. I was always at the church. So the only thing I really had to do was play guitar. So I had a guitar, you know, I started playing guitar when I was 10. My dad had me playing on stage by the time I was 12.
Yeah.
And that's how I learned how to play, was just figuring it out, failing on stage, you know, just not doing a good job.
Hey, you got to start somewhere.
Well, look at you now.
Look at me now, right? Yeah. So that's so, you know, a lot of my roots are, you know, gospel and bluegrass and soul, R&B.
Yeah.
That's kind of all the stuff I grew up playing. So like, which came in really handy later on in my life, even though I was in heavy metal for so many years. You know, home base for me is always that good feel, the good stuff, you know, the gospel blues, you know, those are gospel blues and R&B, and that's, I like that kind of stuff. I've been playing a lot of
Somebody just popped up.
Yeah.
Miss Danielle says, "Is that why you don't vacuum now?"
What?
She said, "Is that why you don't vacuum now?" Danielle,
What does that mean though?
I don't know.
We're gonna have to find out. Oh, I see a spot I missed.
It's your wife. It's your wife. I think she is talking about the fact that you used to vacuum in the church all the time.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's what she meant.
That was cold. That was cold.
That was cold.
That was a good one. That was a good one.
We have one of those little Land Rovers, or whatever they're called nowadays, and
Yeah.
it just like goes in circles, and then and then she cleans out the trap every 15 or 20 minutes while I watch her do it.
Right, Danielle. He should be good at it then.
Yeah, she did confirm that you said you vacuumed at the church. Laugh out loud.
Yeah, so we were talking about how like I'll do the dishes one day, and she'll walk by and she'll do the dishes one day, and then the first person who kind of sees that it needs to be done and has a moment does it,
Yeah.
and we work really well together in that area. But obviously, I need to work on my vacuuming.
She said it's a beautiful life.
Did you like my setup for that?
Yeah. Beautiful life.
So you were talking earlier about like that, like the style of music that you like because of that connection. I will say that growing up, I started Baptist, but then in my teen years, Pentecostal. And I will say that one thing that they know how to do is they know how to make that connection. Like, and they can do it with nothing. Like,
see, now my dad was Pentecostal, so like I was raised with that even if you're not talking on the mic, like make the connection with the people,
Yeah.
And sometimes, like for instance, like let's say that the singer's talking. I'll tell you what happened today,
Yeah.
Right? And they vamp, and they make that background music for the guy talking, and that's a lot of my childhood is kind of like creating scenery. It's just a whole nother world. Like the Pentecostal thing is just a totally, and if you've been to one, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's very interactive.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember my dad's like, hold the one, and then like a couple years later, he doesn't even have to tell me what to do. Everybody's just doing it.
If you can make it through a Pentecostal worship service on any instrument, you could probably be a professional musician.
Because it really is like that. It's like if you're George Strait, or if you're freaking Johnny Cash, the band follows Johnny Cash.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter where Johnny Cash goes or where Willie Nelson goes, the band follows Willie Nelson, and that's how a Pentecostal service is,
Sometimes holding that one or whatever note you're holding, sometimes you could be holding that same note for hours on hours on hours.
They'll hold that thing for 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And the pad on the piano will be like, the piano, dun, 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 oh, dun, 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 dun. And then you're like, are they ever going to change chords?
And then you almost feel bad for them because they literally have been putting their foot on that pedal for so long.
It's a thing, like I remember I remember church services when I was a kid being so much longer. I mean, like, dude, you're talking. I remember services with my dad starting at 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. and they wouldn't get out until 6 o'clock at night sometimes. And it would run through lunch and nobody would eat.
Yeah.
You know, I remember
They go until 5, and then you have church service at 6 o'clock again. Like,
I remember not getting homework done because of big tent revivals.
yeah,
Because I wasn't allowed to work on homework
yeah.
during
Because
the big tent revivals.
priority.
And then I would fail my homework. I would fail on my homework because of big tent revivals. Like my whole childhood was hardcore Christian. Like that stuff was so hardcore, you couldn't even be any more hardcore than it was back then.
Yeah.
But that's the thing is that nowadays, and it's a crazy conversation, but it's a conversation that no one talks about. Everybody wants everything fast food.
Yeah.
Everybody wants fast food. When people come into my studio, God bless to the people who are listening, but y'all don't expect a song to be done in 8 hours because it takes longer than 8 hours to create art. You think Picasso created a painting in 8 hours and then pumped it out? No. Like
Picasso didn't have the technology we have, though.
That's true. But what I'm saying though is that people run on a clock nowadays.
Yeah.
And they like I remember back in high school or back in middle school too, you know, the church services, it didn't matter how long they were. You know, nowadays people want to be in by 10, they want to be out by 12.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And what that does is that limits the Holy Spirit and the amount of time that it takes to get the energy up to where it needs to be. And when you limit the amount of time given on a subject or a certain thing, you miss out on, you know. But when you run a church that has 3 church services, is it their fault? I mean,
Take me to church. I can't sing that song. We don't have the rights.
take me to church.
Okay, well,
But that's the same goes for anything. Like the same goes for anything in life, though.
yeah.
Anytime you put a amount of time and a limitation of time on anything, you're sacrificing what you could get out of it. You know, like the Showboat. You know, you're on the Showboat for 3 hours. You know, and it's a 90-minute show, and not one note changes. Every note is note for note the same every single show, but it's a production, right?
Yeah.
So they have created this entity and everything is perfectly structured. So like every person that comes in to see it gets the same experience.
Yeah.
That's a little bit different though, because there's a lot of thought put into every single second of it, you know? So anyways, enough of my pulpit talk, right?
It's all good. It's all good. We're going to take a short commercial break, and we will be back with Mr. Harvey. Back after these messages.
Where country meets rock and roll.
Nashville Roadhouse Live, multi-award-winning show including Best of Branson and Best of Southwest Missouri. Nashville Roadhouse Live, the most awarded show in a single year in Branson history.
The best of Branson.
The best dancers, singers, snacks and drinks, and audience. For tickets, visit NashvilleRoadhouse.com or call 417-336-8742. Branson's most awarded theater and shows. The Pierce Arrow Theater, Nashville Roadhouse Live. Located at 3069 Shepherd of the Hills Expressway, Branson, Missouri. For tickets, visit NashvilleRoadhouse.com or call 417-336-8742.
Established in 1852. Built by Judge Tompkins for his daughter Theodosia and her husband Dr. Hall. Hence the name, Hall Place B&B and Theodosia's Tea Room. During the Civil War, Judge Tompkins and the Halls moved to Indiana. Theodosia and Dr. Hall did not return to Kentucky. Judge Tompkins, however, did return and practiced law out of the home. After his passing, the home was bought and sold until it eventually sat vacant. Established in 1852. Built by Judge Tompkins for his daughter Theodosia and her husband Dr. Hall. Hence the name, Hall Place B&B and Theodosia's Tea Room. During the Civil War, Judge Tompkins and the Halls moved to Indiana. Theodosia and Dr. Hall did not return to Kentucky. Judge Tompkins, however, did return and practiced law out of the home. After his passing, the home was bought and sold until it eventually sat vacant for several years until Mrs. Royce acquired the home and turned it into a bed and breakfast. In 1983, the house was placed on the Historic Registry. The Hall Place Bed and Breakfast and Theodosia's Tea Room, located at 313 South Green Street in Glasgow, Kentucky, is also a great place for a paranormal destination. It is said that a few ghosts inhabit the Hall Place. Mrs. Royce herself still watches over her beloved bed and breakfast, with its sprawling common areas, quaint rooms that are each named after the historic owners of the home, and even a billiard room. Ms. Charla Emmers, the owner/innkeeper, makes homemade jams and goodies you can pick up during your stay. She cooks a down-home breakfast every morning as well. If you are ever in Glasgow, Kentucky and want a unique experience, stay at Hall Place B&B. And don't forget, breakfast is served at 8:30.
They do it.
Hi.
Hello.
Holler.
I'm not Kevin.
Wait, I'm Kevin, and this is T-Roy.
Wait a minute. Something happened. Something happened.
I meant to say I'm not T-Roy, I'm Kevin, but guess what? I lied. I lied in the whole world, and now I am T-Roy. So,
He's got the whole world in his hands.
And I am everything in it.
For the record, we did not plan to color coordinate.
It's just
It
like,
just happened. We didn't plan to color coordinate. This just happened.
I love it.
so this is what I wore to work today.
Me too.
I love my job because, like, this is what I wore to work today. Like,
Dude,
I
like,
wear uniforms.
you're nice and nicely dressed.
Yeah, because I don't want to go into it. But it's a whole thing.
It's okay. Okay, I'm wearing a shirt. I'm wearing a shirt today called, it says permanently tired.
The same, dude. I relax so much.
And I normally wear a dress shirt like every single day, but I felt that this shirt was pertinent for the day. So
yeah, for real.
plus I looked at my hamper and it was at the top of the hamper and I didn't have to dig. So like I was like, work smarter, not harder.
The Ray is the shit. You know, that is the best invention of the man. This
I'll
stuff
tell you, man.
he was with and like, oh, this hoodie smells like it's 5 days old. It's fine. Oh yeah, it's fresh and new. You know.
So fresh is so clean.
Yeah. No worries at all. And then they got the like low brand shit that you get at Dollar Tree. That's what I like. And it smells.
Listen, they have the Fabuloso at the Dollar Tree, and let me just tell you, the best cleaner ever.
Dude, Fabuloso.
I've never used it.
I don't understand why that's at the Dollar Tree. That should be like top dollar bullshit right there.
We use this stuff. It's called
Color of the world.
it's made by Scentsy. It's
I took over and we were off the rails. What were we talking about, bud?
we use this stuff called Scentsy counter cleaner, and it's made with like
Oh yes.
Ooh, have you had this dishwater or the dish soap with the lemon smell, and it makes your hands and everything, and your hands are soft when they're done, and it smells like lemon. And
it's just it's cleaning bliss is what it is. It's just
oh my gosh.
Yeah, who would have known that I would be that intrigued by something like that? You know.
And don't tell Cincy people are like, oh well, the Walmart brand homestays. This.
Are you seriously talking about Cincy?
Yes. They're like, okay, so I can spend $6 a week on this Walmart brand, or I can spend $6 a month on Cincy. But they're like the shipping, blah blah blah. I don't care. Like one little tube of the wax melt in Cincy will last you about a week. One little tube in the mainstays from
2 days
will last you about a day. Like
yeah. So I use
$8 a week anyway. $8 a week anyway. Like, come on.
Danielle walked out to the studio when she got off work and she named the smell. She's like, raisin rum, huh? I'm like, yes. But I only use 2 bars of the small bars, and it does my entire studio.
Yep.
And it smells great for like how long? How long does it last? Do you think? Like a week?
I think one bar will last a week.
Yeah.
One bar will last 3 days. So 2 bars will last a week.
Well, and it depends on how long you have it on, because like I usually have my Cincy on while I'm at work, and then I turn it off and go home. And so we're talking like maybe 8 hours a day that I have it, and it can last me, because I work 5 days a week, it can last me like 3.5 weeks on the same scented
So
bar.
you can turn it off and it lasts longer?
Yeah,
it's so as long as the smell comes out when it burns.
What?
Mm-hmm.
So I could shut it off when I leave my studio?
They have a little bit different.
Bruh.
I don't know. They have higher quality products than just waxing and smell juices. Like with the Cincy, like you said, a cube, turn it off and like burn it a few hours, make your house smell pretty, whatever, and make your room, and then turn it off, and then keep it going and whatnot.
Wow.
Like, keep it burning forever.
Yep.
Oh,
I had no idea that you could shut it off.
They go to bed.
Yep.
That's crazy.
But it also depends on different rooms.
Yeah.
Like here in the studio, we basically burn the wax melt when we're in here or when we're going to be in here. So it smells nice and pretty.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
the one in the living room and dash kitchen, because we have 2 because it's a big space, they burn like 16 hours a day. Like as soon as they wake up to the time that I go to bed.
Yeah.
You know, so it just depends. But Cincy is the brand itself. Like, well, we are not affiliated with Cincy. Like, everything in Nothin has nothing to do with Cincy, and we are not a paid advertiser.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Their stuff is great, man. Like, I'm a really big fan.
They're little soap bars that you put in the washer that look like a little Cincy thing, and like a wax burner. And you can throw them in the washer, and it's a little bar. You can do up to 3 washes with it. It's amazing. Like, I have a cousin, my sister has a cousin from a marriage, and she's like a Cincy person. So I got this little wax thing. I'm a Cincy ambassador, so if you ever want a Cincy, just get a hold of me, and I'll get in touch with Anita.
Yeah, Danielle used to.
I am affiliated.
Yeah, Danielle used to sell it.
Oh, I wish she still did. I need a Missouri affiliate because.
Well, what happened was we were taking care of her grandmother at our house, and it just got to be too much for her to make sales, so we stopped doing it. But we have at least like 200 bars, like if not more, sitting in our office. So I've got an unlimited supply of Cincy. So if she ever has to get back on ship, I'll support it because that stuff is great.
Yeah,
I use it out my studio, and people walk in. Guys normally don't say anything, but a girl will walk in if I'm recording someone. It smells so good in here, and. Yeah, it's great. I use a different one in the bathroom than I use in the main studio, but I usually use a clean scent in the bathroom, and then whatever in the main room. It doesn't really matter what you use, you know.
Danielle says she loves that cleaner. Sade Shine says, "Hey guys, hey girl,
Hi,
how you
Sade.
Hey,
doing?"
Sade.
So you can catch her at the Nashville Roadhouse Live Theater this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Sade,
Yeah,
I was gonna play a gig with her. So I show up in Springfield to play to have a rehearsal, and my amp took a shit, and like one of my tubes broke in my amp. So like I'm in Springfield, I'm an hour from another amplifier, like, and I'm just like, what do I do? So the drummer at the time, I can't remember the drummer's name, but the drummer drove me to his house to get an adapter or something I needed to run through their PA. I don't remember what it was, but he ended up driving me like 20 minutes out of the way and 20 minutes back so we could have a rehearsal. I'm trying to remember the piano player's name. Tony. The piano player's name was Tony. What was his last name? I can't remember. Anyways, he's a great piano player. And what ended up happening was I think I got a touring gig. I got a touring gig or Duplessis. Yes. What a great piano player. He's amazing. And I ended up having to tell her, hey, I'm sorry, like I have this touring thing or whatever. Oh, Richie. See, I never really got to know Richie because I only saw Richie at that one rehearsal, but he is a heck of a good drummer. And then Brian Skinner was on bass.
Wow, one rehearsal and you're like, oh yeah, I'll play with you.
Yeah, one rehearsal, and then I got this touring gig, and I'm like, I'm so sorry, Sade, like I can't do it, you know. And that was like right. We will get our turn. So it's crazy. That's when everything started getting crazy for me. It was like right around that time that I jammed with Sade, and we were playing some awesome songs too. They were just like good jam stuff, you know. And that was around the time that God, you owe me one. Deal. I'll take you up on it. She actually came and tracked some vocals in at my place one time.
Oh my gosh, she's so amazing.
She freaking came in and knocked it out in one. It was like one take. Like we would have been cool with one take. She did another take, and then she paid me and got out of here. And she's freaking amazing. She's
Time girl, let's go ahead and plug it. Like, when are you starting your show? Where is it at? When's it gonna be? Go ahead and type it up. I'll put it on here for you. So, yeah, I know you're at the Nashville Roadhouse Live. So, when's your first show gonna be, and when are your shows gonna happen? So, sorry, Sharpie, I didn't mean to cut you off on that. But shameless plug, you're all around.
Dude,
Right?
we all work together, man. This is a team effort.
We're all in this together. Bum, bum. Whatever.
Is that Led Zeppelin?
No, I don't know what that
It's
is.
High School Musical.
No, it's not. I don't know what it is. It just popped in my head. We don't have Oh.
Yeah, so we
from that one place.
At that
yeah,
one
so
time,
we had that one jam with Sade, and
that's my brain. Literally, like the songs just pop in and out all the time, and they're like,
That's not the only thing.
Not only do I not sing very well, but like one of my things that I've heard forever is, well, who sings that song? Let them sing it. So if you ever ask me who sings that song, if I popped it off, Kevin Vaughn. I tell you what, he sings that song because I just did. And as a matter of fact, today at work, like we jam music all day long at my full-time place of business, and all the time. Whatever pops in my head, things like it comes out of my mouth when it comes to music. And I'm all the time singing just whatever pops in my head because I'm like, blah, 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 someone will say a word, and I'm like, oh, blah, blah, blah. And today, someone was like, one of the bartenders, one of the salespeople was all, man, babe, okay. You are the world's worst. The only person I've met in my however many years I've been, it's in the 3s, that is like, well, he's jamming to your own fucking song, and it's not even what's playing on the radio. It's just whatever's. And I'm like, well, yeah, man, it popped in my head. I played in my own song. I run to my own beat. What can I say? And then
There's nothing wrong with that.
Beat.
You know, I was writing one the other day, and inspiration strikes. Hold on, listen to Branson. Oh, there it is. Queens of Soul opens March 17th, 2 p.m. VIP night, March 8th, Nashville Roadhouse Theater. Oh, she said you're amazing too.
Rachel from the horse's mouth or the beautiful songstress's mouth. We'll say it like that.
Yeah, I like that better.
So much better.
And I've recorded with Cole Lee before. He's the guitar player. I think he's utility. And I played with Lyman. Lyman recorded with me one time. Lyman's a really good piano player. He's awesome.
Oh my gosh. I wish.
Yeah.
Like, I told Daniel, Daniel, I told him, like, you want some piano tutoring? Talk to that man right there.
And honestly, like, and Sade, like all day, just sing her ass off, dude. She is a freaking powerhouse, dude.
Yeah.
So it's really awesome to see her. It's really awesome to see her taking off.
Yeah.
She is a queen of soul, let me tell you, honey.
She is
the queen of whatever song she puts her voice to. Like, no matter what genre it is, like, go for it.
So yes, catch her March 17th at the Nashville Roadhouse Theater. That is on 948, formerly the Pierce Arrow Theater. I don't know the address, so Shepherdsville Expressway.
In Branson, Missouri.
There you go.
It's over by the Hamner, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Across.
Yeah.
Guys, the only time I've ever been in there when I saw Scotty. I don't think I'd ever been in there before, other than that. Now I know that.
She said,
"Yeah, Sade's great, man."
thank you for the plug. Love you guys. Love you, girl.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Oh, Jim Garstang. Jim Garstang used to play at Pierce Arrow, and I wanted to come out and see Jim Garstang and Anthony, the drummer. What's his last name?
I do not know.
Windsor, I think. Anyways, I wanted to come out to Pierce Arrow and see them back, and then they ended up letting them go or something like that. But Jim
Williams, I think. I grew up with him and his sister.
Yeah. So you know Jim Garstang?
Is that
He was the piano player last year or the year before, I think.
I know of him. I don't know him, but I know
he was Mel Tillis's piano player for 30 years.
Yeah.
And when Mel passed away, he got into the Branson shows, which, of course, Mel was in Branson. You know, he had his own theater and all that stuff. I played with Jim and Jim Garstang in Hot Rods and High Heels.
Hot Rods and High Heels.
What an amazing piano player! You know, he would come in there and be like, "Well, Sharpie, looks like it's another day to do a song that's below my pay grade." I'm like, well, let's not be humble today. Okay.
Not today.
So I don't know how anyone couldn't come in here and just sight read this stuff. I always liked Jim. I thought Jim was really funny. He always talked about baseball. You know, every couple of months I'll text Jim and be like, "Hey, how's old Jim doing?" He's had cancer for 4 years ish. He's been taking chemo that entire time.
What's his
Like
last name?
Garstang. And he lives on that stuff, man. That poor guy. Like he wakes up and he has these cold sweats. Like we be playing show and like he would just turn white, like white, you know. I'm like, poor guy, dude. So I try to check in on from him, check in on him every now and then.
Yeah, that's good. And
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah.
Heck no, dude. So you were asking me where I'm from. So I was born in El Dorado. My dad pastored churches in Kansas. So I was in Kansas for a few years. He Pentecostal. So he was actually a youth pastor first when I was in El Dorado. And then we moved, he senior pastored his first church. It was in Kansas. Then we ended up leaving. We went back to Missouri. I think it was like Lamar for a little bit. And then we moved to Florida, to Funiac Springs, Florida, and he pastored a church out there. It was a town built around a mile radius pond. So the pond was exactly a mile around. So you could walk it. And you walk the pond one time, and it was a natural lake, like pond source. It wasn't like one of those man-made ones or whatever. So he pastored there for, I think it was about the same amount of time. It's 3 or 4 years. And then we moved away from there and we moved to Monett, Missouri. And then I begged my dad. I said, I promise I'll graduate if we can just stay in one spot my entire high school. Like, just please, for the love of God, you know. So I ended up graduating in 2006 from Monett High School. And then I saved up like $10,000 and I moved to Portland, Oregon to chase the musical dream on the West Coast. You know, paying my own rent and not having anyone to help. And I learned a lot of stuff out there. I was in a band called Wizeblood, spelled Wizeblood. So you can look up Wizeblood on it's on Spotify, Pandora. We released that record last year. The record was actually recorded 17 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, we recorded at a studio called Black Diamond Studios in Portland. And the guitar, or my other guitar player, his name was John. At the time, he said that he didn't want to play heavy metal music anymore, so he quit the band. So like as soon as the record was done, he quit the band. So like we may have played 2 shows together, you know. So we like put in all of this work. It's like 6 to 8 months worth of writing a record, you know, and put in all the work, and then we recorded it, and then he quit. And when he quit, we couldn't find a replacement because nobody could play like John or me. We couldn't find anyone to play my licks or his licks. You know, like it was just hard to find someone that could do it. And so I ended up, so the band kind of just like, I mean, it was in limbo. Like we didn't do anything. Like we were looking for a guitar player, but we couldn't find one. And then I remember getting the phone call. My grandma was getting sick. So my dad said, if you didn't come home now, you won't see her. Yeah. So I packed up all of my stuff, and what I couldn't fit in a minivan, I just either gave it away or I sold it as fast as I could. And I moved back to Missouri. And so that was like, you know, me like trying to be in the heavy metal scene. So if you listen to Wizeblood, Wizeblood, you listen to that record. The record's called Wizeblood, self-titled Wizeblood. So if you look up Wizeblood, you it's the only band called Wizeblood with a Z. So Wizeblood. That's like my heavy metal roots. So that's like, it's like blues metal. So like really bluesy, heavy metal.
Nice.
And when I moved from Portland, I moved back home, and then I realized I was in country territory again. And the heavy metal that I was playing in Oregon, it wasn't sticking around here. Like, I mean, I would try to play in these bands, and no one really cared about the hard rock stuff. So I started switching gears, and I went into alternative rock for a while. I did a band called Monett. But because of issues with one of the writers in the band, he didn't want me to release the record because he said it would help my solo career once the band broke up. It's a long story. So that record never got released. And we recorded that in Memphis and with a Grammy award-winning producer, which that's the guy that I interned under to learn how to record music. Kind of a long story, but so what happened when I quit Monett, I was like, well, obviously the alternative rock thing wasn't going to work for me, you know? So I'm like, okay, well, what am I going to do? So then I started reinventing myself, and I was like, well, I'm going to go the country route because that's what all hard rock guys eventually end up doing, you know? Like freaking Aaron Lewis was in Stained, one of the heavy rock bands of all time, freaking love Stained. He went country. So I started writing country songs, and I released a song called The Man I Want to Be, or it's called Man I Want to Be. No, the Man I Want to Be. Wanna Be. WANNA. Wanna Be. I released that one, and that one was about my grandfather and about my dad beating my butt when I was a kid, and, you know, all of those things, you know, although I may not have liked them, you know, they made me who I am.
Yeah.
And then after that, somewhere around the same time, I started playing covers for a living. So I went from doing only original music to doing covers. And when I went into covers, I started doing the Bon Jovi touring. I did a tribute band, Bon Jovi Journey. And then I was in a Conway Twitty thing for a little bit. And let's see, I did some Christmas shows. I toured with original artist Dakota Poorman. He was on country radio. At the same time, I was doing all of those bands, and I was doing Heart, a Heart band, and I've been in Moark Mojo for 2 years. So I was doing 8 bands at the same time and touring.
Oh wow.
Then what happened was I got a phone call from Clay Cooper. And when Clay Cooper called me, I dropped everything for Clay. So I gave up everything for Clay. And I went solely to play for Clay. And then I played for Hot Rods and High Heels.
Yeah.
And then when I was let go from that position, they wanted to keep me in Hot Rods, but by the time they let me know they wanted to keep me in Hot Rods, I had already been hired on the Showboat.
Yeah.
So I took the Showboat, and this is my second year on the Showboat. And I'll tell you one thing, and this is not to get any kudos from any of the people on the Showboat right now. This is me just being extremely transparent right now, okay? It's the best job I've had in my entire life. Like, it's the best gig. It's the best everything I've ever had in my musical career. It's like you couldn't ask for a better thing to do for a living. Like,
Oh yeah.
so it's just like my life musically has just been like this, you know?
Yeah.
And now I'm just like at this point where I'm like, I'm not going to make any better money than what I'm making right now playing music and actually enjoying it, you know?
Yeah.
It's just crazy to wake up and be in my shoes every day.
It is
Like,
so crazy.
I think that I appreciate it more than your average Joe. I think that because of me working in sweatshops, you know, window factories, chicken plants, I've hung live chickens. I've hung a live chicken before, okay? I've worked some really bad jobs, right? I think that because of that, it's why I appreciate where I'm at so much.
I used to work on a rooster farm. I call it a
Dude,
and that is the nastiest freaking job ever. And the things that you have to do with that shit, it's like, I can't anymore.
bro,
Oh, freaking
I've
way.
heard we got rid of a couple people. I don't know if we got rid of or if they quit because I don't want to know that much information, on the boat. But
Exactly.
but a couple of the people who have complained are no longer there, or one of the persons specifically. I'm not going to say any names, but they complained about it. And well, we're on here so much, and I'm like, well, we're only on the boat 37 hours a week. So have you ever worked a job with overtime? Because I've worked 60 hours a week at a job before.
Yep.
Well, no, I've never done that. I said, well, then maybe you should go do that for 2 years and then come back because maybe you would appreciate you own like I just don't my whole thing is I just feel so blessed to be where I'm at. Like
You are absolutely blessed. And with that said, we have literally came to the end of this episode.
already.
Already. And it happens so fast. But thank you so much for coming on. And we cannot wait for the next 2 shows, which is week after next and then the week after that.
Sounds awesome. I'm excited for it.
All right.
Why is it the week after next? Why is
We're
it
going to
next week?
Vegas.
What? We're going to Vegas? Oh my God! So
All right, I'm buying my ticket.
Be here.
All right, come on.
So we're taking the week off, everybody, because we're going to Vegas. You can catch us on T-Roy TV for our escapades on our
Thank you,
Vegas
Chris,
trip.
so much
We
for
will be
coming
going
on.
live.
You're welcome.
T-Roy TV on
Would you
Facebook.
throw your stuff out there really quick where people can hear you and receive
Yeah,
you?
so you go on Spotify or Pandora, YouTube, anything. You type in Sharpie, it's spelled SHARPIE, and look up like the song Drink It All Away, or Shoe Fly, or Turbulence. Those are just a couple of my songs. And then my name will pop up. So I can put a link in for next time, and then like y'all can click I have a dot card or whatever, so you can just use my dot card. So yeah, you can get me on Facebook, Sharpie, SHARPIE. So yeah, I'm all over the place. So
All right. Thank you, my brother. Much love. Until
much
next
love. That's it. Here we go.
And there you have it, Mr. Sharpe, as my husband, co-host said, we are taking vacation next week, so we are going to be headed to Vegas during the time the show is supposed to air. Now, I have ideas, and I don't know how this idea is going to go. So for right now,
It's gonna go like a balloon.
is we will see you week after next with the second episode saga of Chris Sharpe. And
Sharpe.
wait for Sharpe to let you just know how Sharpe became Sharpe. So peace and love. Be there for each other. Love each other. If you need anything, need any help, if you feel lonely or depressed or suicidal or just all out of sorts, call 988.
Or you can text them.
Or you can text them. And that is really good. And you can also reach out to your local police office, your teachers, your friends of the family, your friends, your family.
If you feel something, say something. Please
if
reach
you
out.
feel something,
You're not in
say
this
something.
alone.
You aren't in this alone. There are others of us that are survivors just like you are.
Yep.
So let's survive together and let's lift each other up instead of knocking each other down.
Yep.
Peace and love. Be a rainbow. And I hope that one day everything in your life will be peaches and cream.
Yes.
Thank you for joining T. Roy and a special guest here on Everythin Yet Nothin. Tune in next Thursday at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central for another episode you won't want to miss. Until next time, be a rainbow in someone's life.
Like and follow us on Facebook at WLFE DB Radio.
What?